the current rate of coasters in the Six Flags chain shutting down out of absolutely nowhere, I think it's fair to assume they're not slowing down. After the closures of Knott, Green Lantern, Lobby Board, Nighthawk, and Anaconda, what coasters are next? That's what I'm going to sadly speculate into with this video. Before I start, I just gotta say how much I hate the way Six Flags is going about this. At least announce the closure, give people some time to ride these coasters one last time, or for the first time in some cases. Anyways, I'll be covering every Six Flags park consisting of the Legacy Cedar Fair and Six Flags parks starting now. This small park seems charming but needs every coaster they have. Unfortunately, Diamondback is also very unreliable, and even though it seems like the star attraction of the park, it also looks like a coaster that could be gone in the coming years. The others seem relatively safe for a while, maybe not Silver Bullet because short stops are becoming more and more rare, but Diamondback is the one I would put my money on. They just lost Alpine Bobsled a few years back, but they also got a coaster last year with Bobcat, so hey, good on them. Now they have a solid wooden 1-2 punch, but what's next to go? It'll probably be either Steamin' Demon or Flashback. Both are old and out-of-date loopers. I think Steamin' Demon will probably go first though because it sits on a bigger piece of land and has the worst reputation from what I've heard. Oh, Ronde. The park's so neglected they couldn't even get one of the worst coasters ever built. Maybe Ednor I could see going, but there's one main candidate here, and it's Monster. Goliath seems to be the only really good coaster here, and how can Ronde get another great ride? How about an RMC? I know there's some weird thing going on with RMC being unable to work in Canada. I don't really know all the details on that, but hopefully that gets resolved, and RMC can come in and fix up this thing. This park ain't losing anything anytime soon. Cedar Fair barely touched this park before, and now that they're merged with Six Flags, I don't think it's changing. I think every coaster here is probably safe for a while. I remember when there were rumors of Ride of Steel going, and I don't see that. This is the clear standout coaster of the park, and if this park loses it, then it'll be screwed unless it gets replaced by something really good. Maybe the Boomerang could be going, but I think Viper is much more likely. Euro Loopers are on the way out, and so I could see Viper being next, but I wouldn't be surprised if this park doesn't get touched either. Honestly, I thought Excalibur was already done for. I swore I heard that thing is closing, but according to RCDB, it's not closed yet. But this is undoubtedly the next coaster to go in this park. It looks like a cool ride, but it's in a flood zone and arrows are on the way out, so this one has to be next. Maybe Steel Venom could close, but I don't think it'll be that soon, and I especially don't think that'll be before Excalibur closes. Batwing. It's Batwing. I know we'd all rather have Roar RMC, but we just lost Nighthawk. I really want Batwing to stay open, I really do. I'm actually visiting Six Flags America for my first time this summer, and this looks like a very good ride. It'll be my first Flying Dutchman. Well, it would be. If it's open. This thing is so unreliable, and so because of that, I really just don't think it's going to stick around too much longer. What used to be my home Cedar Fair park is now just my second home Six Flags park, and what do I have to say about it? Well, I think all of its coasters are safe. Possessed is probably most likely to go, but they purposely saved it because the Gravity Group was supposed to lead to the end of this thing. Instead, they went with Iron Menace because they didn't want Possessed removed. I think this park's coasters are going to be safe for a while. St. Louis is kind of a tough one. Boss could be RMC'd, but I feel like that would have happened by now, so maybe it won't. Mr. Freeze takes up a lot of power, so maybe that could go. I feel like Ninja is most likely though, because as I stated earlier, these Arrow Loopers are on the way out. Yes, I'm aware the ride was started by Arrow and then completed by Vekoma, but my point still stands. And also, according to most people, this ride is doggy doo-doo, and so that's partially why I think it's next to go. From one Missouri Six Flags park to the other, I think Worlds of Fun's coasters are much safer. I honestly don't really see anything going. Maybe Timberwolf will get the RMC treatment, or maybe the Boomerang is gonna bite the dust, but honestly, I think this park is gonna be fine. I don't see anything leaving from Six Flags Mexico either. I hear that SLC is one of the better SLCs and they just refurbed the Boomerang, so Mexico seems to be pretty safe. Just sucks for the guests here because they lost out on that Till coaster. Hope they get something good in 2026 at least. Gotta mention the elephant in the room. This whole park is toast. Maybe a coaster or two will be saved, like Railblazer for example has a decent shot at being saved, but the rest of the park is screwed. As for before the park itself shuts down, maybe I could see Demon going, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that much. This park won't be around much longer, and unfortunately there's a good shot I'll never make it since I live on the other side of the country. Now for the other Northern Cali park in the chain, I think this one is pretty obviously Flash. Honestly, I doubt this thing will even reopen. Of all coasters I've mentioned so far, this is definitely one of the most likely to go. Calling maybe has a chance of going just because I hear it's so bad, but Flash is much more likely here. It looks like a good ride, but unfortunately, I think it's done for. Knott's is one of the most landlocked parks in the chain, and so that automatically means there's a chance for something to go. Unless they get really creative for the next coaster, like they were going to with the Giga until it got declined, something's gotta go. There's one obvious answer here, and unfortunately, it's Accelerator. This thing is living on borrowed time after both Dragster and Cod closed, leaving this as the final hydraulic launch coaster in the chain, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like an incredible ride, and I really hope it sticks around for a while, but I just can't imagine that being the case. Not gonna lie, I think it's got 5 years tops. New England has a very uneven lineup with that amazing 1-2 punch, but then decent drop-off after that between Batman and the new Quantum Accelerator. For a while, I thought Flashback was done for, and that land between it and Goliath would be used for one big coaster, but clearly not, since Quantum Accelerator is taking up the Goliath spot and the Goliath spot only, leading me to think that Flashback is going to stick around. The only other ride I can maybe see going is Gotham City Gauntlet, and maybe they'll replace it with like a different family coaster in that area. Hell, maybe they'll give it the Wild Moose treatment. Other than that though, I don't have many ideas. For one, I think Mindbender has a chance of going because Schwarzkopf seems to be on the way out, but it also got a recent refurb. I think Kid Flash is much more likely to go though with how unreliable it's been. The original Six Flags park. Unfortunately, 2 of its seemingly great rides are most likely to go. Those being Shockwave because it's a Schwarzkopf and they're becoming harder to maintain, and the other being Mr. Freeze. We know these Mr. Freeze coasters require a lot of power, so it's possible Six Flags just wants to cut those costs. After all, we know they've done it before. I think Shockwave is probably the more likely ride to go since it seems to be the less popular ride out of the 2, but either way, it would be a loss, and I hope these rides get plenty of time to stick around. You know what? Things are looking up for Kings Dominion. After years of neglect, aside from Twisted Timbers, they finally got a new expansion with Jungle Expedition, and they're getting their big new volcano replacement this year with Rapterra. I doubt anything will be going anytime soon, and they'll only be adding coasters. Actually, Anaconda was mid, so I don't really care. Unfortunately, there are rumors of Flight of Fear shutting down though, and that would just break my heart because I love the Flight of Fear coasters. They are so underrated, you guys don't understand. Flight of Fear is awesome. Give it more respect, and hopefully it gets to have a long life. Unfortunately though, that would have to be my prediction for the next coaster to go at KD. The park many consider to be the best of the legacy Six Flags parks, there is one pretty clear coaster that seems to be the next to close.
Not again!
Oh, Skyline. Even when it looks like you did something right, you still mess it up. These Kid Flash rides look like fun, but they're clearly unreliable, and so they probably gotta go. This park has a whopping 19 coasters once Alpine Fury opens, and most of them are either mediocre or ass. I mean, you got the 3 B&Ms, Alpine Fury, Vortex, and then it's either mid or ass. Don't even get me started on these two. Seriously, do not get me started. To be clear, I've never actually been to this park, but I know the general consensus of these rides. I could see Dragonspire maybe going, but I think the top 3 are Wild Beast, Time Warp, and Flight Deck. I say Wild Beast mainly because... Actually, is it Wild Beast or Wildebeest? I don't know. I'll just say Wild Beast. I say Wild Beast mainly praying this thing gets RMC'd since Mindbuster is getting the gravity grip retracking. Honestly, I think Time Warp and Flight Deck will be gone first though, and I think these are going to go out together. That's prime real estate that they sit on, and that's no space for a coaster that would be much better than both of them combined. Great America has a lot of coasters, but I think they're going to stick around for a while, actually. I would have thought Demon would be gone for sure, but they clearly had the opportunity to remove it when building Wrath of Rakshasa. Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. They could have removed Demon, but they didn't, leading me to think it'll stick around for a while. Maybe Flash could be the next to go, since these impulses seem to be on the way out, or maybe even Max Force will have an early closure because of its problems. God, I hope not. Flash will probably be next, but I think it's still got a decent amount of life left, so Great America is probably safe for a while. Oh, poor Carowinds. Just lost Nighthawk, which I heard was very good, but I'm visiting for my first time this summer, and I was kind of looking forward to riding it, so it's a shame I won't be able to. As for the next coaster to go, I'd love to see Hurler RMC'd, but Hurler is surprisingly popular at the park, so it'll probably stay for a while. Maybe Carolina Cyclone will be next because Arrow Loopers seem to be on the way out, but I think Vortex is the most likely. If not full removal, then at least a floorless conversion. Standard coasters are also on the way out, so I think Vortex is definitely most likely to go. Six Flags, please leave my home park alone. They've done enough damage after 2024. Please, no more removing coasters for a long time. We've got Flash opening up this year, and then the record-breaking launch coaster opening up next year, so I don't want to see anything getting removed for a while after the murder spree they just went on. It still hurts. At least we know that they're retracking El Toro, so that's here to stay. Phew. Honestly, I don't see any of these rides going, actually. I think that they're going to be safe for a while. Maybe Joker, but that's definitely a stretch in my mind. Don't worry. Great Adventure is totally safe. Probably. Possibly my favorite Six Flags park I've visited. Guys, Kings Island is so good. If you haven't gone, go visit. I just went for my first time last year, and seriously, it's fantastic. Go visit if you can. Anyways, there's one clear coaster that's next on the chopping block. Besides Flight of Fear, don't you dare touch my baby. It's Invertigo. Honestly, I kind of like Invertigo. It's rough, but also the most intense coaster in the park. I mean, I grade out hard. That being said, it's the coaster that fits least well in the park lineup, and also KI can get an awesome front gate coaster if they remove Invertigo, and a couple of surrounding rides, so yeah, I definitely think it's the next coaster to go. Honestly, I'm surprised it lasted this long. Now the two biggest boys, the flagships of each chain, at least when they were separate. Magic Mountain has so many contenders. Could be Viper, could be Ninja, maybe Riddler's Revenge, maybe even X2.
Boo this man!
But there's one clear answer. It's Superman. Superman is so This coaster is super unreliable and it's currently SBNO. I'm telling you guys, it's over for Superman. Just Six Flags, don't you dare touch X2 or else I'm gonna lose it. The roller coaster capital of the world, right there with KI for my favorite park in the chain. There are a few contenders for what's next to go here though. Rougarou is the least popular of the big coasters, maybe it's next to go. Maybe Iron Dragon. The Arrow suspended coasters are getting less and less common. Maybe even Top Thrill 2 if let's just not go there. I think this is between two coasters though. Corkscrew and Gemini. Personally, I'd much rather have Corkscrew go. I mean, this ride sucks ass. I've never liked it, and after riding it again last year, it still sucked. Anyways, I really like Gemini though, so I hope it doesn't get touched, but Gemini sits on a much better spot of land. I feel like Six Flags can get creative with a Corkscrew spot though, so maybe I'm delusional, but Corkscrew gets my vote for the next coaster to go. Whoa, that was a lot of parks. I know this was a negative video, but it's just speculation. Nothing here is confirmed, and I hope none of these rides closed, aside from maybe Corkscrew. Hopefully Six Flags slows down on closing all of their coasters and at least announces that they'll close so we can have the chance to say one last goodbye to them. On that note, I'm done for today. Till next time.